It's July 6th, 2022. Trying to give credit where credit's due. This is the system I'm in at the moment, or the pattern I'm in. Lewis has really, and I know he did things for my other children, or he tried to, when they were smaller. However, the citizens are led, based on their, I don't know, again, because of what happened, I don't really have this rites of passage thing down pat. Um, Another thing that was stolen or robbed from me, on the citizen side. I don't know what happened on the subject side. Um, it's with Nucci. Um, he got the fish tank. Now it's one of these things where, like, universal blessing in disguise almost. He got this fish tank. I'm having big anxiety because of, like, the community of fish. One got eaten. I'm freaking out. Like, that there's a cannibal inside this community of fish, having to, like, root out this evil. Then there's the next day, so one fish dies. Then the next day, there's another fish. They thought they got the culprit. Then it turns out that it had a partner. It's like a whole Bezietica community inside this fish tank that was supposed to be for peaceful enjoyment, but man, is it turning out to be quite the ruse. Um, so then I stopped they went and they got some snails and put the snails in, then I was happy. Um, this morning, it's been 2 or 3 days, and they alert me that there's only one fantail guppy male left in the tank. And I'm like, what happened? I mean, cannibalism is out. No longer are we waking up with partial fish. um and it's like, I just feel like in certain families, like the family, like, I wish I belonged in and had growing up, like, this would have been totally unacceptable. Like, you don't buy live animals unless you've completed a course of some sort. Like, there's, like, live animal handling before you're even gifted the responsibility of having animals. That is just not how this societal event has, it's taken a turn for the whatever. So, in this crazy donkey ride, um where I'm pretty sure I had a prior engagement with subject, but here we are. As I was born as a citizen, I suppose, in a citizen society, and I was waiting for whatever, and that is a ongoing question in my mind as to what happened. But um so now Lewis is doing the best that he can in his, he looks like Andrew Carnegie when we go out. I saw the photo referenced here. And then on my way home, I'm like, I was like, Lewis, when you have an investment plan under, like, 1934 guidelines of things that I kind of sort of but not really studied, and it's been a long time and a lot of heavy metals. So I'm like, what's a red herring? And he's like, well, that's when you're putting things together before you bring it in front of the SEC. I'm like, right, okay, so then what's blue sky? He's like, well, that's when you get the permission and you put it together and then it gets released out. And I'm like, right. So now I'm like, okay, so I got, like, a kind of sort of gauge, because I'm flipping through this and, like, the majority of it seems spot on, but they schnooked in some stuff I don't agree with. So, like, I don't know. I mean, in inventing history, for historical purposes with the SEC, or the societal version thereof, of citizens I can't find, and I don't know what it's subjected to. Um, so, anyway, so Lewis doesn't have like income generating business, but he's got whatever, um, whatever. So he went today. We went to go see the fish doctor to have a conversation about this aquatic environment with the sudden whatever. I mean, can't do autopsies or necromancy on these fish. We don't know. It's a mysterious situation how they died, and there's no real instructions that come with it. Other than run the tank for 24 hours before you buy live fish. So that happened. So we did that, but they still died. So that was a problem. So we went to go see the fish doctor today. Or it turns out it's the manager of the fish store who informs us that it could be water. There's 3 things in water. Then it became a life lesson, which actually for me is a cross reference for what I got going on in this new California thing. I noticed warning on this with heavy metals and chemicals I can't even read, I've never been taught about, and I'm like, right, okay, teach me about the fish for a minute so I can cross reference and paradigm shift. So there's, in our local water system, our aquifers, when it comes out of the treated water, out of the tap, it could be that. So now we have to test for chlorine. There's something with, they said pH, nitrates, and ammonia levels. I'm like, thank you, fish, for your sacrifice of life, because now I'm like, right, if my ammonia gets too high, that's bad for the kidneys. And then I'm going off onto the human life science portion of it. But I'm like in this like really bad fog today. Um, and I'm trying to decipher and remember without my medical Bible, since Linda threw that out because she just comes into the room and throws out all the materials that I rely on every now and again without my permission, but she says it's her house. So nobody gives a shit about anything that I have to do. Um, so here we are relying on staples that are now the most recent, and the most recent and most important and crucial in my life. Some of them have been thrown out completely. So now I've got these 3 important water testing features. So we're going to test it through the fish avenue of fish, in discovery, in action, not the way that I would like, but in an EMS situation when you can't plan for something, it just happens around you and you're like, grr. So here we are, and now I have to learn about pH, ammonia, and nitrates, since, and chlorine, which was like, he says that major 3, and then he threw in a 4th, and like, yeah, I had to really listen to him. But he started, the guy at the fish store, I wanted to pay attention, I wanted to zone in and really be present and mindful, but there was something else going on in the store and I zoned out completely. So the guy was talking for I don't know how long, and then all of a sudden, like, I come back to my body and I'm like, wait, anybody else catch what he was saying? Because I lost this moment somehow, like the connection just lost completely. Um, Sometimes I say like my eyes glaze over. It's just like, it's a Westworld glitch. I don't know. It's a problem with the arc divergent at the moment. Um, but that ties in other things. So he's trying to do this on a whim. Oh, and then I saw the other day tennis has this Wimbledon, and I'm like on a whim, and then it bled on. So here we are, and it's bleeding on to this gate. So and then today Lewis has this. He had taken a visit overseas before I was even, or no, I was born, I was an infant. And when he came back, he had one piece of the monetary system, whatever, I guess souvenirs, what you call it, at Sojourner, um, somewhere you go, but you're traveling back. And then he's got one from Mexico from when we visited together. So it had a date in 1987 on it. And then my trip to Ireland. So I have an Erie. And then some other form of linen that I can't read. Some other kind of alphabet system. I don't know what it is. And so we were looking through it today, but the one that he took overseas, which looks for me non-familial, but he took the trip. It had the word WON on it, which I thought was so interesting because I'm like, when you have like competitions and challenges and things, they always say like, did you win, or did you, so who won? And I'm like, wait, that's a piece of linen with a very different look and face on it than the North American linen system, which goes by dollars on the linen. So that was an interesting acknowledgement today, or find. Just randomly in the field discovered it, along with this water issue I'm having with tap water, which is what they call it when it comes out of the faucet. It's a tap. I'm trying to get through this without doctor's help, since I don't have a doctor in the family, or at least one that's accessible by like a phone call, or easily accessible. So I'm going on a whim with Lou on this live purchase of fish to try to learn what I'm missing in real environmental hazards and concerns, since the room they held me captive in this flag system for years, at that Ivy League high school or education they claimed that I had, didn't really prepare me for any of this. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies, broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.